No delay in the trial of a young Massachusetts woman accused of goading her then high school boyfriend to kill himself via a series of text messages. The judge standing firm against postponing the proceedings any further, saying Michelle Carter will go to trial in March for manslaughter in connection with the 2014 death of Conrad Roy. Joining us now, our legal panel today, Lise Wheel, a Fox News legal analyst, and Bob Bianchi, criminal defense attorney, former head county prosecutor and trial attorney. Lise, her side says this is a silly charge. They're saying that you cannot charge her with manslaughter just because she text messaged this boy. What's your take?
Right. She says, well, I'll continue with what she says her side is saying, not that I believe it, and Bob can get on with the prosecution here quickly. She says, look, you can't prove causation. That's really what her side is going to say as a defense. Yes, they both had mental issues. They were both on some psychotic drugs, or Celex, which is an antidepressant, and that, yes, she did say these things, but it was just kind of what teenagers would say to each other. It didn't cause his death. It was not a but for her, but for his death, but for her text, he wouldn't have she wouldn't have killed herself. He still would have killed himself. All right. So that takes away her causation. That takes away her criminal responsibility. Were her texts bad and inappropriate? Absolutely. But he still would have killed himself. Bob, take it away. Get the prosecution here.
Before you take it away, Bob, let's get to some of those texts that she sent him. She said she wrote him things like, "You just have to do it. Tonight is the night, and it's painless and quick." Also, one time after he started his truck in the garage in an attempt, apparently, to kill himself with carbon monoxide poisoning, and then became afraid, and he jumped out of the truck, got some fresh air again. She writes, "You always say you're going to do it, but you never do. I just want to make sure tonight is the real thing." That doesn't sound like innocent behavior on the part of a girlfriend.
No, so let's remember here that we're not saying in this charge it's involuntary manslaughter, which means that even though the death may have been unintended, the person acted or said things that caused the death of another person irresponsibly. But you have to add to some statements here. Even at the end of those texts, John, she indicates, "I knew it was my fault." She didn't only tell him and coax him during the actual event itself, but she actually instructed him how to get the generator, how to put it together, how to make sure that when he was actually doing it, that he would complete the task because he was concerned that he actually would not die. So her conduct went far beyond just mere words, and I think the prosecution is going to take that involuntary manslaughter charge, which says that even though you didn't mean it to happen, it was reckless, and then they're going to add that last statement she made to her friends, "I knew he did it, and it's my fault," and that's going to be the end of this case.
But the other thing the defense could come back at, and I'm working here, Bob. Okay, I've got to take the defense. Could come back and say she was as brainwashed as he was, and in fact he brainwashed her. Remember, these are teenage kids. And it's a stretch, but you get one person on that jury to believe that they were on this antidepressant, she was brainwashed, she didn't mean it to happen, and she did it. And that's the hardest word here, cause it to happen.
Yeah, that trial starts in March. We'll certainly keep viewers updated. Now, another case that involves some wild statements from a female defendant, the kayak murder case in New York, and what could be a blow to the defense. After the judge just ruled, the jury will be able to watch Angelica Graswald's police interrogation video, during which she made a series of incriminating statements. Graswald is accused of killing her fiancé during a kayaking trip. Now, that police interrogation went on for something like 8 hours, Lise.
Right.
Her defense says, first of all, they just wore her down. They got her to say stuff that wasn't true just because she was exhausted. And also, English is not her first language.
Right.
How do you approach
Russian
that?
is her first language, though she's been here some 20, 25 years, okay? And apparently most of the things that she said was not on a full-on confession, but most of the really incriminating things she said was before she was Mirandized. So her defense lawyer is going to jump on that. Most of the things she said was before she was Mirandized, and even after she was Mirandized in that long period of time, she didn't understand the Miranda warning, which of course we know is that you have a right to counsel. Anything you can say can be used against you. She didn't understand the English language well enough to understand what the Miranda warning meant. That's what the defense is going to pin their case on. Again, Bob, take it away.
She said she supposedly said during this interrogation, "Who is Miranda?"
Yeah, well, she didn't, but she clearly said that she understood her rights. And by the way, what's going to be really compelling here is that the judge is allowing the video to actually be seen by the jury. It is clear, and I've seen this video, she is speaking intelligently. Yes. She's able to respond to questions in English without any difficulty whatsoever. And in fact, what I really love about this case is at the end of the actual statement, John, when the whole thing was over, she blurts out at the end of it, I wanted to kill him, and I wanted him dead.
And now he's gone, and I'm fine with it.
They're going nowhere with this, especially in light of the fact that when they realized that the plug had been removed from the boat and the oars had been dismantled, and she admitted that she did it, and she even said, there's a good angel and there's a bad angel.
I felt torn apart before what I wanted, and there's $250,000 in insurance.
And motive as far as her being upset about sexual activities of him. They got motive, means, opportunity, everything a prosecutor loves.
They got a lot of stuff. We're trying for the defense here.
You did a good job.
Thanks, Bob.
That's another fascinating case to watch. All right. Thanks very much. Bob Bianchi, Lisa Wheel.
You got it.
Thanks.
Jenna.